I'm Paul Edwards. I'm a self-published horror author, and first and foremost, a monster kid. Last night I watched The Woman in the Yard. As a writer, I know that there's one question that you always want your reader to ask, and one question that you never want your reader to ask. And this same rule applies to movies. You always want your audience to be asking themselves, what's going to happen? There has to be suspense. They can't be predicting everything that's going to happen. So you always want your audience asking, what's going to happen? You never, never, never want your audience asking themselves, what is happening right now? That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And there were a lot of moments in The Woman in the Yard where I was asking myself, what is happening right now? And do you have any idea how many of these kinds of movies I've seen in my lifetime? The fact that I couldn't figure out what was happening right now is a huge red flag. It's fine for the audience to not be sure what's going to come next. It's not fine for the audience to not even understand what is happening on the page that they're reading or on the screen that they're watching right now in the moment. That doesn't mean you can't fool your audience. That's fine. You can make your audience think that they're seeing one thing and then later reveal that they were really seeing something different. That's totally fine. But in the moment, as the audience is reading along or watching your story unfold, in the moment, they have to believe that they understand exactly what is happening. And then if it turns out that what they saw was not what everyone thought they saw, that's fine. But you can't have people just staring at the screen going, what is going on? Or reading your book and thinking, did I miss a paragraph? I don't see how we got here. I don't understand what's happening right now. That is the downside of The Woman in the Yard. I will give credit where credit is due. If you like jump scares, you probably would enjoy this movie because there are jump scares aplenty and they're very well executed. The basic premise of this movie, and this is spoiler free, this is just the setup. The setup is that there's this family that lives out in a rural homestead, and the father has just died recently, like within the past few weeks. And the mother, the teenage son, and the grade school aged daughter are learning to cope with life without the father and husband around. And one morning, they're having breakfast when all of a sudden they notice that there's this strange spectral woman sitting in a chair out in the middle of their yard. And she's dressed in a black veil and just sitting there staring at the house. And so at first they think maybe it's some, senile person who has wandered away from their caregiver, and the mother goes out and tries to help her, but it quickly becomes clear that this is not just an ordinary confused person. This is something more hostile and more unearthly. I won't give away any more than that. I will tell you overall that they had a chance in this film to go way, way darker with the themes than they wound up going. And sort of, I felt like they straddled the line. They got a little bit into some really dark material, but not far enough that they would not then be able to keep their PG-13 rating, and it is a PG-13. There's a couple of bad words in it, that's it. So if you like jump scares, it's for you. This woman is the woman in the yard. She is a poor man's The Woman in Black. That's what we're dealing with here. A poor man's The Woman in Black. And she absolutely is creepy. They did that well. And I will give credit to the young man who played the 14 or 15-year-old son. He was the best actor in the whole thing. He was great. He was great. Very convincing. But it wasn't enough to make the movie intelligible. and there are too many unanswered questions that the viewer still has at the end. So that's my take on The Woman in the Yard. Is it worth watching? Yeah, it's worth watching. But it's never going to be anybody's favorite film. Hey, listen, if you like classic monsters and vintage horror, check out my book series, the Mourner's Woods books. They're for sale on Amazon.com. They're a series of stories all set in the haunted forest. Completely different cast of characters in each book, so you never know who's going to live or die from one book to another. My name again is Paul Edwards. My books are the Mourner's Woods books. Thanks for letting me tell you about The Woman in the Yard, and I will see you in Mourner's Woods.